welcome to a new Lorcana video. So today we are not actually going to play, but we are gonna see together the new card that just got announced for the new second set of Lorcana. It's already super interesting and my hype is already pretty high. It's going to be released the first days of December, so we don't have to wait that much. But let's just give a look to these new cards. The first one is Tiana Celebrating Princess. 4 ink required, not inkable, 1 power, 4 toughness, and she can quest for 2 lore. First ability, resist to new keyword ability, super interesting. So damage dealt to this character is reduced by 2. This is already adding a new layer because now we cannot just play grab your sword, kill all your creature, be sure to deal damage to all your creatures, and it's looking interesting. So this kind of creatures is going to be tough to deal with. We need art removals, we need super art beaters to get rid of these cards, and it's going to be interesting because now you can just play, I don't know, a mid-range deck based on steel creatures with annoying effects that you pretty good in combat too. Thanks to this resist ability, you could also just buff your creatures, get in there, you take basically no damage, get rid of some creatures. It's already looking interesting, but the second ability is what I really like about this card. While this character is exerted and you have no cards in your hand, opponents can't play actions. So I love this type of effects. In every single card game I play, I love cards that say your opponent can do stuff, your opponent has to pay more and all those stuff, and this is super cool. I mean, it's not that easy to build around probably, but as soon as you play some cool creatures, maybe some bodyguards, you can just deploy Tiana, keep questing, your opponent can play a Be Prepared, a Dragon Fire, all those stuff, you cannot bounce your creatures, and they have to just get in there and fight your creatures. And she's pretty good at fighting. I mean, it's not super powerful, but that resistibility is pretty good at making her survive combat damage. I like this card so far. I think it's going to see a lot of play, and I'm going to try to build around this card for sure. Second one on the list is by far my favorite from these new spoilers, Cinderella Stouthearted, 7 ink, and she's actually inkable, 5/5. I love the art, I love the style. I love that this set is full of Floodborn characters, so what if and such. And she quests for 3, that's already looking good. She has shift 5, we already know what that ability does. She has resist 2 as well, so a pretty good fighter overall. And the last ability, whenever you play a song, this character might challenge ready characters this turn. So this card is already shifting the basic game rules. You are not safe anymore with your ready characters. You can shift, play a song, and then kill one of your opponent's creature, and she's taking less damage too. She's just crazy. She's also hero, princess, knight, so we already have the princess synergy with Moana, but I think that we are going to get also hero synergies and knight too, and this is looking amazing. I'm going to build a deck with both Tiana and Cinderella, and hopefully it's going to be great because this card is just right. We have another Floodborn card, Gaston Intellectual Powerhouse, 6 mana, 4/4, 3 ink from questing, shift 4, develop brain. So whenever you play this character, look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You may put 1 into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your deck. So for 6 is just 4/4, 3 ink, draw 1, which is not that bad, but shifting these into the Ruby Gaston or something like that, it's not bad at all, because you play Gaston, you have a pretty good removal already, but by turn 4, you can turn that removal into a pretty good questing character that draws you a card, and with not bad stats at all. So I think that this card is not bad. I think that this card is going to see play in Ruby Sapphire ramp decks. You're going to get to 6 pretty quickly anyway, so even if you are not able to shift onto the other Gaston, you're just going to get a pretty good creature by turn 6 drawing 1. So I think that this card is fine and it's worth trying it out. Next one on the list is Dinner Bell for ink, not inkable, and you tap it, pay 2, draw cards equal to the damage on chosen character of yours, then banish them. So it's kind of interesting because if you're planning on dealing damage to your creatures somehow and you have high toughness creatures, then you can just sacrifice your creature and draw a lot of cards potentially. This reminds me of warrior strategies on Hearthstone where you deal damage to every single creature into play, and I think that we are going to see cards like those, and Ruby could have a strategy built around dealing damage to the whole board and then just sacrifice your creature, draw, play more creatures and all that. So right now I don't think it's super good. It's not bad, but I don't think it's super good. But maybe with some good tools it could become actually a pretty powerful card. So I think we've got to wait to see if this card is actually that amazing or not. Raya, Warrior of Kumandra, 4 mana, inkable, 5/3, and she quests for 1 lore. So right now not super impressive. I think that if we are going to get a Raya that can shift into this one, this could become a playable card. Right now it's just a vanilla 5/3 4/4, which is okay, nothing too special, so I don't want to waste too much time speaking about this card. We will see if this is actually going to be played. Belle, Eden Archer, another Floodborn character, 5 ink required, pretty good stats overall, shift 3, she quests for 3 as well. But the cool stuff is that whenever this character is challenged, the challenging character's player discards all cards in their hand. What can we do with this card? We can do a lot of stuff. That ability is so cool. We can give Reckless to opposing characters. We can quest with her, we can sacrifice her, but our opponent is going to discard every single card they have, and that's, I think, almost a win on the spot. We could also play something like Just in Time to get her into play by turn 3, and then turn after you make her sing the Beast in Me or something like that, and then your opponent has to sack the Belle. And what can they actually do? It's so cool. I think that this card is going to see tons of play, and this could also be a more chased legendary than Elsa for what I can see. So super high hype on this Belle. The Sorcerer Spellbook, 3 ink required, and it's pretty cool because it's the first item that actually gives you lore. So you tap it, you pay 1 and you gain 1 lore. This is actually not bad in control shells where you maybe have a lot of mana, you want to keep casting Be Prepared, and you just want to get 1 lore every single turn. This is not a bad card in control shells, but we need to see if we have actually enough space to be playing these type of effects. But items are somewhat harder to get rid of. We just have the Beast and a couple of other effects. So right now I think that this card has a lot of potential in those kind of shells. So surely I'm going to try it in my Amethyst Ruby list, and hopefully it's just going to fit well. And this is the first Winnie the Pooh card we got to see, a Hunny Wizard, inkable, 5 ink required, 5/5, and 2 lore for quest. So it's just a solid card. It's a pretty good common overall. Its stats are pretty good. It's inkable, so I don't think it's too bad. I'm not sure if it's actually going to see play, because the more sets come out, the more powerful cards we get to play. So this is just a fine card. Maybe we're going to play it for the first 2 or 3 sets, but I'm not sure how long are we going to play it. But overall it's pretty good. We got another Merlin Shapeshifter, 1/5/4/4 inkable. Whenever one of your other characters is returned to your hand from play, this character gets +1 lore this turn. So if you want to play this card, you probably have to build it around it. We have some bounce effect. Right now we are just using them as tool to get rid of opposing threats more than to blink our own cards, because bouncing them into your hand is cool, but we need to pay mana to get them back into play. We don't have that many good low cost cards with good enters the fields, so you could bounce a Maleficent, but you still have to pay 3 more, and so we kind of need to wait to see if we are actually going to get more tools to bounce cards or good enter the fields cards. Right now this is a cool concept, but I don't think that we are going to see it being played unless they print some good bounce effects or enter the field effects for low cost. So we have to wait for this one. Elsa Gloves Off, 3/4, 4 mana, inkable, challenger 3. So this card, I think that is super good because you can play Earth by turn 4. You have a pretty amazing attacker, and then you can still shift her into the super powerful Elsa from the first set. So overall, I think that this card is solid, and I think that she could actually see a lot of play in control shells. Overall, I think that she is better than Jafar, so I think that this card overall is pretty good, and I'm going to try her for sure. 0 Hero, action song, the first song we get to see from the new set. 2 ink required. Count the number of characters you have in play. You pay that amount of ink less for the next character you play this turn. So this card is actually pretty interesting. Let's say that you want to play Rockstar Stitch. So we have a lot of 1 and 2 cost cards in our deck. We have a lot of characters. Let's say that by turn 3 you have someone that can sing this song like Simba, and turn 1 you played a 1 cost card. Turn 3 you can play like other Duke creatures, so you're going to play 4 less for another card, and you can play for free, I don't know, Mickey Mouse or something like that, or you could play a Rapunzel if you trade on the Simba. So I think that this card has potential. The only thing I'm kind of scared is that this is a disadvantage card. It's not going to replace itself. It's just a ritual of some sort to get creatures faster into play, but this card doesn't replace itself, so it could be interesting in Stitch Rockstar's build, but I'm not sure if this is actually a good card for those kind of decks, because you want to empty your hand pretty quickly. Stitch Rockstar has already shift 4, so it's not that difficult to play it. Lantern is still an option, so I think that this card could be a bait, but maybe I'm wrong and it's actually super strong. So I'm going to try it probably, but so far not too much hype for this particular card. We've got another Floodborn character, the Queen Commanding Presence, 4, 3, 4, 5, inkable, questing for 2, shift 2, so already interesting. And whenever this character quests, chosen opposing character gets -4 power this turn, and chosen character gets +4 power this turn. So she's kinda of a removal for every single turn. You tap her, you get to kill one opposing creature, and she does her job pretty well, killing your opponent threats. She's just good at questing, and she makes survive your characters as well. So I think that this is a solid card. I'm not sure in which shell I would play it, because right now Amber is more of a aggro style deck, so she's not that good in an aggro shell, I think, because for 5 it's a bit too much, but maybe in some more mid-range decks. It's also true that right now the only queen we have is a 5 mana card, so maybe they're going to print a 2 mana cost, the queen that we can shift into, and that would be pretty good. So right now I think that this card is going to see play, and I'm sure that as soon as they print another queen for less cost, this is going to be a powerhouse. So keep this card on the radar because it's going to be good. Last on the list is Mickey Mouse, Friendly Face, 1, 6 toughness for 6 mana inkable, E-quest for 3 lore. Whenever this character quests, you pay 3 less for the next character you play this turn. So it's interesting because for 6 mana, this is doing a lot. But this card has no enter the field, you need to reach 6 ink, and then you must have other cards in your hand to be able to use his ability. So maybe in some shells with Steel and a Brave New World where you keep having cards into your hand could work. So I think this card could actually be good, but you need to be sure that by turn 7 you still have creatures and you can use its ability, because otherwise it's just a 3 lore for 6 that cannot really attack, as high toughness, so it's still a pretty solid card overall. But I'm not actually sure there are shells that actually want to play this kind of effect right now. But there are so many cards they still have to announce, so it's a bit too early to judge this card, I think. And to see all those cards, stay tuned, because I'm going to make videos for every single new spoilers they make. So stay tuned for more. Hope you enjoyed this kind of video. Don't forget to subscribe and see you in the next one.